Is this as far as I can go? I feel like I could have done so much more. So many areas of my life I could have achieved so much more. But it's not like I'm walking away with nothing. I accomplished a lot. I achieved a lot. I grew a lot. Most importantly, I found my passion. I figured out what I want to do. I have a dream that I'm willing to give everything for. I think that's something worth 9 months. It would seem that this is the end. My dream has died. At least for now. これで終わりにしよう。僕の夢はもう死んでしまった。It's dark. It's gonna be really dark on the mountain, but I wanna go somewhere quiet, clear my thoughts, speak freely, so... You know, it's nice to be able to just go for a drive sometimes. Clear your mind. The monster cans are so small. Cold drinks. I think what I need is some good old jasmine tea. 100 yen. They actually have a Earl Grey, so I think we're gonna get that. This section always makes me want to buy stuff. Eclairs. Most of the savory stuff I can't eat. Although, these are sweet stuff, so I could eat this. Kind of like a pizza. This looks interesting. They do have dorayaki here. So, here's the Z. Looking honestly beautiful. The battle scars tell the story. In a way, I've grown to like this style. Battered and broken. Bruised and scarred, but still running smoothly until the very end. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's talk about why I failed at living in Japan. Firstly, I think it's important to acknowledge that I'm extremely blessed to even have had this opportunity to come to Japan, to move all the way out here in the first place. Most people couldn't do that, and that's a fact. Like, most people just don't have either the money, the time. Various limiting factors are preventing them from being able to just up and move to a different country and pursue a crazy dream. In my case, I wanted to become an automotive engineer. I wanted to design or build cars, engineer cars. Really, cars have been my passions from a very early age. It's just I never found what exactly regarding vehicles I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do automotive engineering, or I thought I knew that. But I never really enjoyed math. I never really enjoyed the studies themselves. I did a bit poorly in college back home in the States, and so I came here to start over. And I started fresh from zero. I was learning Japanese in a Japanese language school. And what happened is, I did fairly well. I managed to get up to an N4 level of Japanese. And I took the JLPT test. I went through a bunch of effort at that school that I was at. But my attendance was still not great. If moving here has taught me anything, it's that changing your environment is not going to change you ever. It can affect you, it can help you to change, it can foster growth and change, but it's never going to directly change you. All your problems that you have had before with yourself, they're going to follow you wherever you go. You're not going to be able to take advantage of it if you don't change yourself first. I struggled just like I did back home in school here. Not because I was bad in school. I would say I was probably one of the best in my class, the beginner class, as far as Japanese ability, even though I came here with virtually nothing. Like, I watched anime, did a little bit of Duolingo, and that's about it. I didn't even download Anki until a few weeks prior to coming here. It's not like I was bad in school. It's just my attendance wasn't great. I would stay up late, and then I would end up sleeping in sometimes, getting late or missing school. And because of that, everyone at the school, as far as management, they acknowledged that I was better than everyone in my class as far as Japanese, but they didn't really like me. because of my lack of attendance. It's not like I was gonna be deported. It's not like my attendance was that bad. It's just that they were a bit upset with me. So, and somewhat understandable as well, obviously, which is why I can't exactly blame the school for everything. I mean, obviously, I'm responsible for my own actions, my own irresponsibility, my own inability to do things. But basically, in the second section or like semester of school, I moved to a higher class. Except it was in the morning time, and around that time I was trying to pull something funky. I was trying to work a job back home, which I won't go into too much, but basically I would have been getting off work around morning time, meaning it would have been very difficult for me to make it to class on time. Long story short, I moved to the beginner class again because it was in the evening and they had a vacancy. So I was like, you know what, I'll sacrifice my ability to learn for the next few months. I'll just, take it as immersion and, reinforcement of what I've already learned. And, next semester I'll move up to an even higher class. I'll test out of whatever classes after this. I'll study on my own, use Anki, whatever, anime. So what ended up happening is that job never even worked out. Like, that job just fell through, even though I was fairly certain that I had gotten the job. I mean, I had gotten the job, it's just that they immediately fired me right afterwards. So, yeah, it's complicated. I think I dodged a bullet with that one, to tell the truth. But it was kind of annoying because I had already given up my morning class, my higher level class. So long story short, I was spinning wheels in that lower class for another few months. And this didn't do anything to help my motivation to come to school. Right? Like, I was bored out of my mind wanting to die sitting in that class. It was not a fun experience. Not fun at all. But yeah, I was like, can you please let me go up to the higher class again? And they were like, no. And then the next semester, they were still like, no, you cannot move up. And at that point, I was just done. Like, still no? What do you mean still no? Like, the new classes are starting, you should let me go to a higher class. But they weren't having it. They stuck me in the lowest class still. And I'm not saying that I'm fluent, like native level Japanese, but I'm not beginner level anymore. I'm N4 level. So, I was really, really not having a good time. Which is unfortunate because I needed the Japanese language school for my visa. But at that point, I was just like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Like, you can't just do this to me. At the end of the day, like, respect is important, but I'm the one paying you here, right? Like, I'm spending a large chunk of my life savings to continue attending this institution. I'm not getting any value from it. That's a problem. That's a massive problem. So I went and I had a talk with them. Basically, at that point, I was kind of in my villain arc, and I was like, you know what? Screw all of this, because you know what? If you just don't want me to leave a bad rating, let me stay here for a few more months at school. That's what was going through my head. Like, I wanted to take the narrative of the conversation in that direction without directly saying something like that. And I subtly managed to get them to think the way I wanted them to think, I guess, because they actually said to me, oh, it's a shame we can't just let you attend for free. They actually said that. So I'm happy that I managed to steer the conversation, or steer their minds in that direction without even saying anything about that. But at the end of the day, I have not very much experience with conversation and, steering conversations and stuff like that. I don't talk to people much. I'm naturally a very shy person. I always have been. So it doesn't come naturally to me very much. I don't think they would have let me stay for free at the school anyway. I wasn't expecting them to. But basically what happened is I wasn't going to pay any more money to them. So I stopped. I went to immigration, they said you have 3 more months. I was like, 3 more months? Why don't you just let me... I had done a whole bunch of research. I brought a whole bunch of different visas that I thought I could apply for, and they rejected me for all of them. They didn't even let me apply. They were just like, nah, you can't. ちょっと難しい is what they said. A little bit difficult, which was mildly infuriating at the time, but, you know, I was just like, okay. And I was like, okay, 3 months. I'm gonna figure this out. In these 3 months, I'm gonna figure out my next steps, my next moves. If I have to go back to the States, I'll go back to the States. If I have to go back, I will go back. But I'm gonna try my best to stay. So, one of the skills I have is Quran and knowledge of the Quran, which is the holy book in Islam, which is my religion. And I was like, okay, maybe I can get a religious visa. Maybe I can go work at a mosque or something because I have skill in this area. I was unable to find anything in that area. I mean, there are a lot of mosques around here. It's just that I've never worked in that type of... I've never been employed in that way before. I've never worked in that field before. I'm still going to try that maybe a little bit. There's still a few more mosques I can reach out to. Besides that, what else is there? So there's tourist visas, right? Normally a tourist visa is 3 months. Well, you can also get a tourist visa for a lot longer, like a year. It's a designated activities visa for tourism and sightseeing. I tried that and they were like, nah. I was like, okay, cultural studies visa. That seems nice. It can go up to 3 years. No, they were like, no, you have to go to the school first. Once you have admission from whatever cultural institution you're studying at, then you can come back. So there is still that possibility. I could go apply to a Kyokushin Karate Academy and start learning Kyokushin Karate and get a cultural studies visa. The issue is money. You can't work on that type of visa. And I need money. It's been 9 months and I was working for some of those months. I was flipping bikes for some of those months. I was doing a lot of stuff to try to earn cash, but at the end of the day, moving to a new country and starting over from fresh is not cheap, especially when you're going from living under your parents' roof, having everything paid for you, to all of a sudden being on your own completely for everything. I'm paying for groceries, I'm paying for rent, for electricity, for everything, right? Now, I am living on the very, very cheap end of things. I'm renting a share house room. I've got a really poorly situated parking situation for my car. I'm driving this beat up Z. You know, I'm doing everything as affordably as possible. I don't eat out much. I don't go out. I don't party. All my friends are car friends, really. That's the only place I've been making friends is in the car scene. And so I managed to live for under 100,000 yen a month as far as myself. And then my car costs me maybe, 40,000 a month. So all in all, I'm spending about $1,000 a month to live on my own, which is very low, right? Except that I'm not making $1,000 a month and I don't have infinite money because I'm a 21-year-old idiot with unemployment. I could, if my YouTube channel was way bigger, if I had more things going on, I could apply for a digital nomad visa, I think. Something like that. Stay here for up to a year. If I found someone I really liked and wanted to get married to, I could get married here. There's a lot of different visa options, right? Yeah, there's not really anyone in my life like that right now. Nor am I really seriously looking, to be honest with you. I have a lot of work to do on myself before I can even think about bringing someone else into my life. I think it's also important to remember why I came here. It was for engineering, as obviously I wanted to go to school here. I wanted to go to Nagoya University, which I actually put a ton of time and effort into my application, and then I still got rejected. I felt really good about it. Everyone who looked at it said said it was amazing. But it is what it is, right? Alhamdulillah. Everything happens for a reason. I also came here for the culture, for the cars, for the food, for the people, the society. The weather, not so much, I guess, but the scenery, yes. The scenery, the mountain. Here in Kobe, actually, I didn't come here to Kobe specifically. I just wanted to come to Japan, and Kobe happened to be the only place that was available through the program I was coming through, Gogo Nihon. And, well, honestly, Kobe is perfect. I want to live here if I come back to Japan. I've been to Tokyo, I've been to Osaka, I've been all around, I've been to Tokushima even, places that are farther away from society. But Kobe, it's in the coast, right? You've got the port, you've got the mountains right next to it. So you've got the mountains, the coast, and sandwiched in between is Kobe. You've got downtown, beaches, mountains, parks, museums, everything you could possibly want in a town is there. But then you've also got a good population, but not too much. So at nighttime like this, there's hardly anyone about. It's not super crowded like Tokyo is. Or Osaka. I mean, Osaka is a lot less crowded than Tokyo. I wouldn't mind living in Osaka. As far as Kobe though, Kobe has a lot more quiet areas. It's got a lot more scenery. You can bike everywhere. So on my bicycle, I can go in the mountains, I can go to the city, I can get around pretty much everywhere I need to go. So my daily is my bike. My car is just like a weekend car, so I can afford to thrash on it. If it breaks, something happens, it's okay. I can get to work, to school, to wherever on bicycle here, which I like. The reason I can't get a work visa right now is because I have no degree. As I mentioned, I struggled with college back home and I did not graduate even with an associate's degree. I could finish an associate's in about a year if I tried to, which I may end up doing because I do want to come back. But with an associate's, you can't do a whole lot. There are some programs that'll let you become an English teacher here with just an associate's. But the thing is, English teaching isn't gonna pay very much. Now, it'll pay me enough to live, maybe enough to own a car as well, but it's not gonna pay me very much. It's not gonna be comfortable, especially if I'm trying to drift, trying to become a racing driver. It's not gonna be optimal to be living on such a tight salary. You gotta understand how different the economy is here. So yes, everything is cheaper in Japan, but you get paid a whole lot less too. So I've worked for about $7 an hour here, whereas in the States I was working for 15, which is minimum wage in the States. So at least where I'm from. So the economy is vastly different. A low-end salary does not buy you a whole lot. It's gonna be a struggle. And as much as I appreciate a simple lifestyle, I also need to have a buffer. I need to have a bit of wiggle room in case something does happen in my life. So I think that's also important to have a bit of room to breathe. Like if I want to plan a spontaneous trip to Tokyo, I'd like to be able to do that. On an English teaching salary, I wouldn't really be able to travel around a whole lot, to do a whole lot of things. So I think that pretty much covers why I have to leave, but why don't I want to leave? I got rejected from school, right? So what's the point? Why do I want to stay here? I quit language school. I'm not going to university. So why would I stay here? Well, the thing is, I'm sitting in it right now. Somewhere along the way, I accidentally found a new dream. As I mentioned, I've been into cars my whole life, ever since my earliest memories. I'll run some photos on the screen right now of myself at 4 or 5 years old, staring at a 350Z, staring at an E36, staring at an R33 Skyline for the first time in my life. I've always had that passion. I just never knew how to express it. And out here in the mountains of Japan, driving my Altezza, running into some Hashiriya, getting stuck in a gutter on the mountain my first night driving. That night, a guy in an 86, an AE86, and a guy in an FD pulled me out of the gutter, and they taught me how to drive from scratch, from zero, from nothing. We were doing donuts, right? We started with donuts, and then we did eights, figure eights, and then that same night, I went back on the Toge in my Altezza, and I drifted up the mountain. And I have a video of that, which I will play right now. Which is clearly Assetto Corsa, right? This is not a real life, this is a video game. I'm very, very happy with what I was able to accomplish that night. From zero, mind you. Back in the States, I didn't even have an LSD on my car. Like that one video where I went around and did donuts in my E36, that was with an open diff. And that's all the experience I had besides playing BeamNG for a few minutes. So with no experience, they taught me how to drift. And that night he said something to me, which I took as a joke at the time, but he said, "In 5 years, you could be a D1 GP driver." We were sitting and chilling. We got drinks from the vending machine. He was like, "In 5 years, you can become a D1 GP driver if you keep going at this pace." I didn't think anything of it at the time. I was just like, oh, that's cool. He's just being nice. He's a Japanese dude who I met in the mountains. He taught me how to drive. This is super cool. This is awesome. But then I realized I wanted to be a driver. Somewhere along the way, I was laying in my bed one night, contemplating life, my failures and successes, the few successes that I've had in my life, and I realized, you know what, I really like driving. Those feelings I had when I was driving, that was something I've never experienced before. A feeling of accomplishment, a feeling like I'm actually good at something maybe. And I never even considered driving to be a possibility for me because, I mean, look around. Good drivers are a dime a dozen. Yes, normal drivers far outweigh good drivers, but there are good drivers, a lot of them. There are millions of people out there who are better drivers than me. So then how the hell am I ever supposed to be like the best driver in the world? If I'm gonna do anything, I have to be the best at it. That's always been my mentality. And it's just seemed like such an impossible task to ever be a great driver in this world that we live in compared to everyone else out there. But then I realized, you know what? If this is what I love, then I have to try. After that night, I just kept thinking and thinking. Kept driving and driving and grew to love it more and more. And I went back and I asked him, the E86 guy, I was like, "Hey, did you really mean that? When you said I could go pro, when you said I could go to D1 GP, do you really see that?" And he was serious. He was like, "Yes. Gambattara ikeru. If you try hard, you can do it." I decided to try hard because I knew he was telling the truth as well. That he wasn't just lying to make me feel better about myself. And I remembered what Max Arito told me when I met him in Osaka. Max Arito, he told me, when I asked him for advice, he said one word only. He said "gambare" or "gambaru." I forget which one. But all he said was try. That was his complete advice to me. Try. And you know what? I tried. I built my Z. After my Altezza blew up, I was so broken up, so sad. I was torn apart. And it spun a bearing because it got way too low on oil because I didn't bother checking it tonight. The car I put everything into, the car I loved, it blew up in front of my face. And standing on the mountain with engine knock, with smoke everywhere, hopeless. Going from that to going and building this Nissan Z with some of my good friends, or rather one of my good friends, actually the FD guy who rescued me on the mountain. He helped me build this car. We put in some Project Mu handbrake shoes. We put in an extended handbrake right here. I put in this Nismo shift knob, which came directly off of my Altezza. So that car is still alive in some way. We welded the diff. It had a VLSD, but it was trash. It was not locking at all. So we pulled that out. We swapped in an automatic V36 Skyline diff, open diff. We welded that up. I ended up paying a bunch of money to have that welded. And we got the car ready in time. And we took it to Tokushima Cartland. I actually still have that sticker on my windshield from when I went there. That's my event sticker. That's my registration slip for that contest. And I was not feeling great because I had just managed to get the car done. I had no practice driving it. I had literally never drifted this car. And I had a little bit of experience drifting my Altezza up till that point. And that was it. In practice, I spun immediately. And then my tires burst and I couldn't get them changed in time. So I had no practice whatsoever. And the little practice I did have was just me spinning out. But then come contest time, everything just clicked. The car just felt perfect. And let me show a clip here of me smiling as I realized I could control the car. I could feel it. I could understand it. The car was mine. The car was connected with me, with the road. Everything just felt right. And even though I wasn't perfect, I understood what the car was doing, what it was telling me. We were having a conversation. It was beautiful. I realized at that moment that I could do it. I switched to the high grip tires. Come contest time, I went out not expecting too much, just knowing that I would try my best, and no matter what happened, whether I crashed and burned, or whether I won, that I had to try my best. And I did. I went in, I tried to drift the whole course immediately. It was rough. I couldn't do it. I straightened out. But then I stayed calm. I went forward, went in with a handbrake entry, and pulled off the smoothest and sickest drift of my life. Transitioned perfectly. Got right against the line and exited with a flourish. Round 2, I did even better. I managed to make it a little bit smoother on the lead up. I entered super early. Everyone thought I wouldn't make it, but I did. I came in with the cleanest line. It was beautiful. I made a mistake. I didn't counter quickly enough on the exit. Everyone laughed. It was hilarious. But I actually pulled off a sick drift that time too, even though I was disappointed. On the third run, the S-curve leading up to the main corner, I drifted it so beautifully, looking back. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here and be arrogant. And yeah, I spun. I got scared. I braked. But it's good to have that fear. That fear keeps you safe. Don't let go of that fear. Just learn to master it. Control your feelings. Don't erase them. Now, I know I could have grabbed the handbrake. I know I could have saved it. I know I could have pulled off a sick line in hindsight. But I also know I knew nothing about driving. I still don't know anything. So, with the knowledge and experience that I had up till that point, I couldn't pull it off. And some people will complain, oh, why are you using the handbrake so much? Why are you using the handbrake as a crutch? Because I had to. Because I didn't know how to drive. I didn't know how to drift. And so, if I went in with a clutch kick, with a Scandi flick, I would have crashed. You have to realize that I had no experience driving. So yes, I went with a handbrake entry. I went with handbrake transitions sometimes to keep myself safe. Because as long as I stayed within what I understood as far as the car's movement, I was confident that I could drive it. And I did drive it. And going forward, I can learn and I can grow. But in a competition, you have to rely on what you know a little bit. If you experiment too much in a competition, that's when things start to fall apart. You need to be able to adapt, but you also need to stick to stuff you do know and understand. What can I say? It worked. I won. I was not happy with my runs, to be honest. I thought maybe I got third place or worse. And I only thought that because my friends were like, you were the best, everyone else was way worse. But I didn't believe them. I was like, come on, guys. I spun. I couldn't pull it off. But at the end of the day, it was a beginner class, and it seems like everyone else had even more trouble than me. And at the end of the day, it seems like, looking back, my drifting was actually a lot better than I realized. The judges were like, there's third place, there's second place, and way above them, in a different league completely, is first place. Amin, you're first place. And that feeling at that moment, you can see me smiling. I was overjoyed. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. But I did it. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, alhamdulillah, it all worked out. And I got the answer I was looking for. Up until that point, I wasn't sure if I should drift. I wasn't sure if all this was some stupid delusion, some weird, crazy dream that could never possibly work out. But at that moment, I had my answer. This wasn't just another stupid dream, it was something I actually have a bit of talent for. I know I'm not good yet, I know that. But I can become good. And that knowledge is what has kept me going up until this point. Even though the future is dark, even though I don't know what's going to happen next, where I'm going to be in a few months from now, where I'm going to be in 20 days from now. I could be back in the States You wake up in your bed and it never happened. You never went to Japan. You're just back in the States, and that fair lady Z, it's gone. That drift dream, it fell apart. But I can pick up the scraps, I can pick up the pieces and put something together. I can keep training back home in the States. I can keep going no matter what. I might move to Texas, compete there, work a part-time job. Back in the States, I don't have an issue working a part-time job. It's just motivation. It's just you versus yourself. It's just going out there, putting yourself out there, aggressively seeking a job, getting a job, and then working hard in it, supporting yourself along the way. If I can get a degree by going to community college or online school, I might go that route so I can come back and work a job here and get a working visa, keep training on Japanese tracks, because the level of a Japanese drifting is not necessarily higher. It's just that the style here is totally different from American style drifting. And the people here in the Kansai region of Japan, the people are just so welcoming, so inviting, so helpful. And the drift community is like that in general. I know that back in the States they're like that too. I just never had an opportunity to be part of it. I never saw a reason to. I never spent that money, that time, that effort, because it all seemed like a stupid waste of time. But all that has changed now. Now I realize that this is my one true dream. It's the only thing that I really love, that I'm also not bad at. I don't want to say I'm great at it, because I'm not, but I feel like I have talent for it. And you can laugh at me, you can call me crazy, but I genuinely believe that all those that told me to stop, to quit, to give up, that they're gonna be watching me as I win. And that's why I have to leave Japan. That's why I don't want to leave. And that's what I'm gonna do next. When I go back home to the States, I'm gonna figure this out. I have a lot to figure out in my life. But I do know for sure that I like it here in Japan. I love the people, the culture. Everyone is super nice. And even those who aren't, who cares? I'm an outsider everywhere I go. I'm used to it. It's nothing new to me. I've learned Japanese and I love the language. I love the food here, even though I can't eat most of it because it's not halal. I love the roads, the toge. I can drive 10 minutes and be in a real toge. Famous toge tracks, famous toge courses, racing with the real toge drivers. Obviously, I don't go super hard on the toge, but it's accessible. It's right there. I like city life, but I've never liked American cities. They're dirty and stinky. Out here, it's different. And I think if you want to move to Japan, if you think it's something you want to pursue, I would say give it a try. Go for it. Make that move. Take that step. The worst thing that can possibly happen is you learn. You're gonna learn. You're gonna find yourself, or even if you don't, you're gonna understand that maybe Japan isn't for you. But you'll never know. You'll never get those answers that you seek, that you crave, unless you go out and seek them, unless you try hard to understand. And you'll never find out what could have been, what if, unless you actually take that step, take that leap. So my message to you is to take that leap of faith and that crazy dream, to go for it. That's the same thing I said 9 months ago before I came here in the Why I'm Coming to Japan video. And I still believe that. I stand by that. I'm so glad I came here. I'm not the same man that I was before I came. I found myself. I found my dream, my passion, my purpose, my way to contribute to society. At least I think I did. And I found the thing that I'm ready to give up everything for. To keep pursuing it till the very end. Saigo no saigo made. Because if you don't have something worth fighting for, then why are you here? Your passion is out there, but it's not gonna find you on its own. You have to go and seek it. Go and find it. Go and live your dream. No matter where I am, I'm gonna be happy. Because I found myself. And I don't care anymore about what other people think. I'm not afraid anymore to take risks. Coming here has taught me a lot. And I'm overjoyed to be able to have had these experiences and opportunities. And to share some of them with you all. If you want to follow along my journey from now on, or if you've been following along until this point, I really appreciate all of you. And if you think that there's anyone who might be interested in my content among those that you know, among your friends or family, I highly encourage you to share my content with them. It helps me, and it can also potentially help whoever it is that you're sharing it with. So thank you all very much, and I will see you very soon in my next upload, which will be the next time I upload. Goodbye, everyone.